a dry cow pellet that Graymont makes for us. We're running about between 55 and 60 pound average. The ration consists of, I think we're at about 40 pounds of corn silage. We do sorghum, forage sorghum in baleage form. So our protein base is linseed meal, and you probably remember from our early days. This is we have a double 10 parallel parlor. It's built just strictly for Jerseys. We balance he balances the ration, and then in the spring when the pasture's really lush and they're really cranking on it, about 60% of the ration is coming from pasture.
Well, we are now at Kilgus Homestead Dairy here in Fairbury, Illinois, and as you can see from the background, we have Jersey cattle. And our Paul Kilgus is one of the co-owners of this dairy. It's a very unique dairy in the sense that not only do they have Jersey cows, very genetically good cows, and that they also have steers that they finish out, and they also have swine and meat goats from that aspect as well.
So as far as this is we have a double 10 parallel parlor. It's built just strictly for Jerseys. We're milking 2 times a day. We did, and we'll kind of look at that, but we've divided now into 3 groups of cows, because when we built the compost barn, it was built for 75 cows inside, 150 cows. So we've been really overcrowding it all summer, but we could do that with the pasture. Now that we're pulling them off pasture and less hours on pasture, we just needed another barn, and so we're right in the middle of converting it, but there's cows in there. It was steers. And then we've also, we've got a group of 16 that are just show cows. They're going to be going down to Louisville. But once they're back from Louisville, they'll go in with the fresh group. Generally, we're running about between 55 and 60 pound average is pretty typical. 5% fat. Wintertime, we'll run 5.2, 5.3, 3.8 to 4 protein. That's kind of where, and somatic cell count, I think all summer we've been right at 100,000 or under. So, and I think the pasture, the compost barn is huge in that. But it's like anything, it's got to be managed right. Yeah, we use a pre and a post. It's the same thing. It's an iodine based, and we've used it for years. We've got along great. So, yeah, we pre-dip, we strip, and then we wipe off with an individual towel for each cow. So this is our pre-fresh close-up pen. We'll bring them in 2.5 to 3 weeks before calving, and pretty basic grass hay, and then TMR that's balanced for close-up. We keep it pretty simple, and it's not that we don't ever have milk fever, but it works really well. We haven't had much. When we first got into the Jerseys, it was a struggle, but we were on a learning curve. So we use a dry cow pellet that Graymont makes for us, and we use Rally, the Rally pellet, and and then some microbes and stuff like that, but pretty basic corn silage and that, and then grass hay. And then so then this is actually, dry cows go here in the winter, but right now this is our show cow pen. These are cows that are probably going to go to Louisville, or they're there, and then we'll make the final cut in a few weeks. And they get some TMR, but we keep them on baleage, long grass hay, and grain and beet pulp with a little TMR, and then we'll transition them off of TMR just for showtime, and then they'll go back.
Now
so
that's a new barn there, isn't it?
This one right here,
yeah.
Actually, this was our old freestall barn. It's about the only original one left here. The big old barn used to sit here, and so that'll serve the purpose for a while. We're kind of seeing how this is all going to work, but So this cow here, she is 95 points. She is actually the bull mother of a lot of the bulls, and she's gonna finish with her 305, close to 29,000, I think. So we're
a good one.
pretty excited with her. We sell a few embryos. Mainly, we've been putting in our own cows.
Okay.
And so we've had 2 of them, but every other year in March we try to have a tag sale. So we're gearing up for another one this spring.
What is a tag sale?
So basically, it's not a live auction. We'll go through and select genetics, and mainly from our cows, we'll pull a few in from other breeders. And so basically, it's all online. So we'll tie them up, we'll get them ready, and it'll be video and all online, and that's worked out really, really well. So that has been a real positive addition to part of our.
Nice. Who Trent oversees that?
Trent, yeah. So yeah, Trent and I work with the dairy, but Trent, he kind of mans it, and we work together on it. So I'm trying to transition it to the younger ones. So this is the new group we just created. This actually we built it as a heifer barn in 01. Then we put steers in it, and now we are going to make it a compost barn. For now, we're going to see how it works. They've just been in here about 3 or 4 days, so we're kind of in the middle of transition. We're going to obviously change the neck rail along the front. This was more for the steers. So what we're doing here is the fresh cows are coming in here, and so we're hoping fresh cows and 2-year-olds. We're hoping that it will be a positive step to having a third group.
Yep.
Not only just for room, but just for getting them taken off. The second group will be they'll go here from the fresh group into there at breeding time, and then once they're confirmed pregnant, they'll go into the third group. The ration consists of I think we're at about 40 pounds of corn silage. We do sorghum, forage sorghum in baleage form. About 18 pounds of that. About 15 pounds of alfalfa baleage, high moisture corn, and then a protein mix. So right now we're about 42 pounds of dry matter is what we're getting in them.
Okay.
And we have to keep it pretty basic. So our protein base is linseed meal, and you probably remember from our early days. We don't have any soy in the ration because being non-homogenized and a single source milk, it would give it an off flavor. So it would give it people would think it was bad. And a place up in Iowa we talked to, that's kind of where we got the idea of going non-homogenized, and they just said soy won't work because and especially when you're non-homogenizing, because that homogenization is what masks your flavor, or the difference. That's why you can pull your milk together. So we keep it pretty basic, the linseed meal, but that also lends itself really well with the pasture and the omega-3s, and so it's high, and linseed is high in that. So it's a good marketing point too. And it's worked out. We get along well with that. So yeah, like I said, this barn is kind of in transition. It's kind of experimental. If it works good in here, we will probably pour concrete walls, and make it a full-blown compost barn where we till it and everything. But that is the idea. So yeah, we're in the conversion process. And a little bit experimental, but so far it's worked out really, really good.
Yeah.
I think we're on our 3rd year in this. Have you ever been in here, Mike? We built this. and it has worked out really well. So we keep all of our calves, obviously the heifers, all the bull calves are kept, and if they're not, sometimes we'll do genomic testing on them to see if they'll out of the good cow families, and then otherwise we steer them and we feed them out. So we're keeping all of our calves. So basically, we've got 4 rows, and it's concrete, but it's sloped, and then we've got a French drain in the front and in the middle, so they stay dry. And then we'll wean it. I wean at 60 days, and we'll keep them in here a couple more weeks, and then we transition them to super hutches in this small group, and then they go on down to Trent's place. We did a few years ago. We went to the Milk Taxi, which is the mobile pasteurizer, and that has worked tremendous. Because the Jersey calves are a challenge to raise, but we get along pretty good. And then after we wean them and they're moved out, everything's disassembled and power washed, and so it makes it really nice. But this has been a really good step of a barn for us because we get a lot of good ventilation. We can open it all up or close it all up. So it's worked good. The only problem is it wasn't big enough. That's fine.
But how many pens do you have now?
We're right at 50. We can have 50 in here.
50. Wow. Okay. Yep. When did you make the big decision to expand? A year ago?
Oh, we've been working on it for a year. And I just feel like it's important that everybody that's involved has to be committed. Has to be in on it. If anybody has any reservation, then it's not worth it. So. And everybody is. We just felt like it's the time we just need to be, and maybe Matt probably alluded to that too, we're just doing so much more milk than what we had built it for, so it just needs to be made a little more efficient. So things are more efficient, streamlined, and then a focus on quality, where we're bottling going into the cooler and so forth. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of positives that'll come with it. Basically, I'll offer it at about 4 days old, a 22% calf starter, and then they will stay on that all the time they're in here. And then when I transition them to their small transition group, we drop down to a 18% grain mixed with the 22%. So I do a transition and then put them straight on that. And I do run a low dose of aureomycin in there just to help that transition respiratory. So that's as far as diet, that's where the calves are at. The colostrum, so definitely I just feel like colostrum is really the most important part of the calf, getting off to a good start. So we will do a little testing as far as the colostrum quality. Generally our older cows is what we'll save from, and we'll make sure they get 4 feedings of colostrum in them, and we try to get it in within the first couple hours. Born in the middle of the night, that doesn't happen, but yep, that is
it's a texturized calf starter.
Yep.
The corn's crimped and pellets, lots of molasses. You see the molasses on it as far as that goes. It's a really good calf starter. That's the way to go.
Yep, that works.
Can almost
really
eat
well.
that for breakfast food.
A little milk and you have her made. How we got started in the hogs is number one, I never envisioned myself being a hog farmer. But so when we decided to bottle, go to bottling, it was going to be, once we started bottling, that was it. Prairie Farms would no longer pick us up. So it was kind of like jumping in the fire with both feet. And so we gave a lot of product away. We had to bring some back. And so we had some extra milk to throw away. So we got the idea, well, we'll get some hogs and feed it to them. And Justin, my oldest son, he was kind of dabbling in selling some meat. And then, so we thought, oh, maybe they'll be interested in pork, Well, so we did that for a while. Well, then when the milk sales took off and we didn't have extra milk to feed the hogs, we thought about just getting rid of the hogs. But then these places had already, they kind of begged us to stay in. So then we started buying feeder pigs. Well, then the price of feeder pigs went through the roof, and then we ran into a little trouble bringing pigs from different places from just disease standpoint. So we decided, well, why not just follow the same pattern as the rest of the farm, and let's start them here and finish them here. So we jumped in and started farrowing some hogs, some sows. Right now, I've got about 70 Berkshire sows that we farrow, and then we take it to finish. So they're born on the farm, and it's where they stay the whole time. The Berkshire is, I would say, it's the chef's choice of pork, because they're much heavier marbled, and it's a little more of a red, I would say the red hue to the meat, and so it brings a lot of flavor, and there is a big difference. Probably, if you want to say a negative to the Berkshire, is their litter size is not as big, but we have averaged 8 to 9 pigs a litter, so I'm super happy with that. We really haven't had any mothering ability problems. I do source my gilts from a place in Iowa, and they've done a really good job on the maternal side. So, and then I try to find boars that come from a place where it's more focused on your meat quality, and it's really made a really nice cross. So this is my gestation barn, and the breeding barn here, and then they when they get within 10 days of farrowing, we move them to the farrowing barn, and then they go on down to Justin's place to finish out after they're born. So they've been farrowing about 2.5 times a year each sow. That's kind of the goal. Yeah, and we try to farrow continuously. It's some more or less, but so we right now we are harvesting 25 to 30 hogs a week. So basically, when COVID hit, we were working with a local processing plant, and they got overloaded, and we ran into just a little bit of quality issues. And so a local guy that owned a processing plant over in Forest, he says, "Hey, why don't you let me kill them? You can rent my old processing room and do it yourself." And so Justin, our oldest son, he decided, yeah, let's do that. And that was the best move we made, because we have control over the product from the start to the finish. And then he custom cuts different meat shops want it different ways, and it's really been an exciting venture. So we pay them to kill them and to hang them, and then we take them from there. So yeah, it's been a really good move. So after the calves are weaned, we take them off of milk and wean them at 60 days, leave them in there for 2 or 3 more weeks. And then these are the transition super hutches, where they go into a small group of 5 to 7. And then we transition them from the 22% texturized starter to an 18% grain mix. And they will stay in here for a month to 2 months, depending on if we have room and how they're doing. And then we transition them to the heifer barn. So ideally, once a year, in the fall, we take it out and put it on for fertilizer on the row crop fields. And if you don't go over 75 cows a side, which is where it needs to be, it'll take you a whole year. I mean, it'll last a year. And so yeah, basically we till it twice a day generally after every milking. Or if they go out to the pasture, then we'll till it. As far as the bedding source, we use sawdust, and Really, the key to make it work is to till at least 10 inches deep, and then plenty of air movement. You got to have air circulation, whether it's natural or we use natural, and then the fans. This time of year, it's great. Humidity's low, everything's dry. Sometimes in the spring when it's really wet and cool, it can be a little bit of a challenge, but you maybe take a little more bedding. We will add fresh bedding in the winter when the cows are in here all the time. We will add fresh bedding twice a week. So basically, kind of what we use as to know when it's time to bed is if the tires on the tractor are wet when you're tilling, and if it's not steaming real good, then it's time to add some more. And so the more it steams, the better it's working. And it needs to work properly, it needs to be at 135 degrees to really make it compost. But really the beauty of it is when you go to haul it out on the fields, it does not have a lot of odor to it. I mean, we can go right down by the golf course and spread it, and they don't even know we've spread manure. And it has really done wonders for the soil. So, it's you spend, it's sawdust isn't cheap, but so there's a couple of reasons why we like this is it's very compatible to the pasture. When we had free stalls and we brought the cows in out of pasture, they weren't real excited about laying down. Our free stalls weren't, probably they weren't the state of the art free stall like some, they weren't sand bedded and stuff. But the other thing that we have found is cow comfort is phenomenal. Heat detection is really good with the compost. The other big one is we get a lot of tours, and it's a lot of city people that come. It's very public friendly, because lots of times they just simply don't understand why free stalls work for a lot of dairies and the reasoning behind it. But so this resembles them laying out in the pasture. So all that together, it's worked really well for us. The longevity of the cows has been tremendous. Probably another thing that we've really seen huge when we went from free stalls to compost is we struggled with foot warts, the hairy foot wart. When we came into here, those have just disappeared.
Are you walking cows through a bath?
We do run a foot bath. We try to do it once a week
Sweet.
in the return alley of the parlor.
Isn't that your copper sulfate?
Yes. Doesn't always get done every week, but at least every 10 days it's done.
What about hoof trimming? Are you doing any hoof trimming?
Yep.
You yourself, or do you bring somebody on?
No. Paul Grable from up north does it, and we're on a program with him. And he comes like every 6 weeks and runs through everything, and it works out.
You pick them all up, or you have selected cows?
He tries to make sure he gets through all the cows. Oh, let's see, what is it? 3 times a year, maybe. So he has a way of keeping track of what he's done, and so it's worked out really well. This is what our protein mix looks like, if you're interested in that. The majority of it is linseed meal with your vitamin mineral packs in there. So
does their truck just drop it off, blow it in here? How does it get in here?
We put a lid on the top. We'd like to do a commodity barn or shed, but we're not sure where we want to locate it, so we went with these containers, and they actually work really, really well. Very reasonable, and they work good.
Yep.
So we'll walk down.
Both of them have the same feed in?
That's just bag feed.
Bag.
Yep.
Wasn't there an issue with the soybean not foaming either?
What's
there
that?
a foaming issue with the soybean meal?
Foaming?
Foaming, it didn't want to foam. See, it seemed to me that was another problem you had besides the off odor or flavor.
Oh,
Not really, huh?
let's see. I don't remember that was a foaming issue.
Okay.
I do know we work with a lot of coffee shops, and that foaming is a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's where the Jersey milk really shines. I don't understand the whole foaming thing, but it's really, really important to them, and so that's a good thing. So this pile here is corn silage. This is high moisture corn, and then we do an earlage. Generally, the earlage is in the cow ration. We did run out, so we're waiting. I think we can start feeding it now this week, but we're wanting to give it a little time. Yep. So we like to have enough, but with the increase in cows and steers, we ran just a little bit short. So we're still on the old pile here from last year. We're real close to switching, but
You got a lot of silage here yet from last year.
yeah, we had a decent amount.
Where is this year's silage? You got another bunker?
No, right here. No, this
Bag?
this year starts right there.
Oh.
Yeah, so we had this much from that row of bags to there was
Okay.
what was left, and then we just we covered it and we started packing on that. So that's all this year's.
Okay, I
We
see.
did 1,700 ton, I think.
Is that gonna
what
be
we
enough?
got. It should be. Yeah. That's
How much pasture do you think? How much dry matter? What's the pasture contributing?
So
normal, typically.
So we don't change our rash as far as how it's balanced for the pasture. We used to, and it just seemed like we were like this all the time. So what we do is we balance the ration. He balances the ration, and then in the spring, when the pasture's really lush and they're really cranking on it, about 60% of the ration is coming from pasture, and then it drops down depending on how the summer is. Generally hangs 40 to 50%. Now when it gets real dry, it'll drop a little bit more. But now if we get some rain here this fall, it'll pick back up and we can hit that 60%. So we just kind of adjust how much we feed, but we don't actually go in and change.
So it's the amount of PMR that's going to be put in front of the cow.
Right. Yes. Yep.
And who makes that call? You go to a certain weighback level, or?
Yeah. Basically, whatever we we used to just feed our way back to the steers. They're not here right anymore, but. So hopefully we're going to have a pen of close-up heifers, and then we'll probably use that for them. Okay. So yeah, we kind of just gauge it off of
someone has to read the bunk.
Right.
You read the bunk.
Yes.
So
yeah.
The bunks are
so
low.
Trent basically does most of the mixing, or pretty much all the mixing, and so he'll do that. But he or I will make that call. And so yeah, this is our baleage. The grass hay, we mix it in for the dry cows, but so as far as we do use a low lignin alfalfa, and we cut every 25 to 28 days. So we actually just cut our 6th cutting the other day, so we're actually going to bale it today. We're actually going to dry bale that.
So do you put that in a double screw mixer to grind her up a little bit?
Yeah, but they do run knives in it, so as you can see, it cuts it. That really makes it nice.
Yeah. Is it your baler?
No, we
Custom?
we just have them bale it. Yeah, obviously we probably would have built the compost barn a little bit bigger, but our idea was, well, we'll never go over 150 cows. Oh, let's see. What we would do different. I don't really, I mean, like on the bottling, I know there was some things, we definitely would have probably, the guys would have probably went and worked at a bottling facility for a while before we started the bottling. But as far as the cows, really it was just be more, maybe went bigger with the compost barn.
You're at 213 milking today. Will that go to 300, 350?
I want to say no, but we're probably a little limited, because I still want to continue to do the grazing. We're probably a little limited because we're a little bit landlocked, and just because of, sitting right next to the town, and with roads on each side, as far as the grazing, we're maxed out on what we can graze.
So the grazing is all here on this
Yes.
side of the road.
So it goes down around the pond, goes down along the timber line.
Is that your timber?
Part of it is, yep. But no, as far as what I would do different, I don't really.
How long does it take to milk the cows? Double 10?
We generally figure we can do 100 in an hour, 2 people. So, obviously now with more groups, it takes
More
one
time.
person to.
Get them.
Yep. But yeah, no, as far as looking ahead, hopefully the next generation will want to come along, and and we've talked about that. We're diversified enough that if the grandkids down the road want to take, like say Justin's kids say, I want to just focus on the meat part, I think it's doable, and yet everybody relies on each other. It takes everybody to make the whole thing work. But I do think that's the beauty of the diversification, is everybody can be somewhat independent in their own area, but yet you all work together.
Yeah.
We run 2 planters, and so we usually start planting corn and beans at the same time. So
the only custom work is coming
is
in on
just
corn side,
the forages.
Forages.
Yep.
Forages.
Yep. The baling and the chopper. I don't know. We may end up getting our own baler. The chopper, I just figure for the investment in that and 1,800 ton of silage, it's pretty nice. And the thing is till we all run the semis and the pack tractors, we'd have to go hire somebody to run the chopper anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and he does a really good job.